If you're a whiny little bitch who doesn't know what a hard day's work is, if you cry and moan about having to put in the elbow grease, if you run from accountability and shake at the thought that maybe it's not them, it's you, if you're already uncomfortable and scared during this disclaimer, turn this shit off. We'll give you 2 seconds. Time's up, bitch. This is the Erin Marie Podcast, where the pussified mentality gets thrown in the dumpster fire where it belongs, and mediocrity gets skull-f***ed. We're talking total annihilation. This show is about getting off your ass and handling your shit, because the fate of the next generation depends on you becoming mentally unfuckwithable. Let's rock it, you unapologetic Americans. This is the Erin Marie Podcast, and here she is.
Guys, welcome to the Erin Marie Podcast. This is the show where I teach you how to master your attention with real-world applications so you can build a brain that bends in your favor. This show is for people who are driven and want more from their day, more from their life, more from themselves. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I hit on pretty hard on my social media posts. But I know not all of you follow my written posts, you just follow the podcast. So if you've already seen me write about this online, cool. Nothing I say here should come as a shock. But hearing it in your ear as a story, as a call to action, this will land differently. And you know what? That's what actually changes somebody's trajectory. Today's idea for this episode has been on my mind all weekend, and I know it's going to hit home for a lot of you, especially if you aren't where you want to be yet, if you're just getting started on a new path, or you woke up today and you thought, hot damn, this is my only life. It's ending 1 minute at a time, and I'm going to fucking live it. If that's you guys, I promise this message will absolutely land. But before we dive into it, quick reminder, I don't take sponsorships on this show. That's how you know this message is clean. So if when you're listening to this episode or any of the Erin Marie Podcast episodes, if it makes you tilt your head to the side, if it makes you think differently, if it lights a fire under your ass and gets you to actually take positive action, then I want you to go share the show. I'm going to give you the unfiltered truth. You're going to amplify it. And that's how we all level up together. So if you think this is a good use of time, I want you to go share the show. And if not, you are more than welcome to say, fuck that girl, Erin Marie, and don't share the show. Whether you decide to share it or not share it, I'm totally cool either way, whatever. Today, guys, I want to talk to you about a concept that I hammer on all the time on social media. It is important. In fact, I think this episode could actually save your entire life. Many people don't understand the concept I'm about to drop, and that's why they continue to spin inside their same tired circles, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., praying to fall asleep before they fall apart. So if you have been frustrated with your lack of results lately, pay attention. This concept is simple in words and brutal in reality. It is all about the trap of self-acceptance, why you keep falling for it, and how you can get off your ass and finally handle your shit. Right now, so many are stuck in what I call their limp ass existence. Not polished, not dialed in, posting on social media like the world owes them something, okay? You know what I'm talking about. You know these people. They're professional victims. They're blaming bad luck. They're blaming oppression. They're blaming their race, corporate greed. They're blaming their upbringing and everyone and everything around them. And in actuality, you and I both know that the only thing that these people are truly a victim of is their own weak-ass, Care Bear motherfucking thoughts and their refusal to handle their shit and actually do the work. That's the truth. But I want you to think to yourself, guys, why aren't more people saying this out loud like I just did? Why aren't you being told this? I know why. Because most people would rather be comfortable, play it safe, and stay invisible with their life. And you know what? The social system around you knows this. The blame stream media, your inner circle, the wellness gurus on Instagram, they know comfort sells. And that's why they tell you to accept yourself as is. None of which changes your behavior, grows your skill set, or builds a brain that bends in your favor. And you know what? When I'm scrolling on my social media feed, which is rare, but when I do, I see a bunch of you posting memes about work-life balance, about your flaws, about positive affirmations and kindness and rose-scented bath bombs. And most of you posting that shit, you know what? You don't realize that you are part of the problem. You are fueling the cognitive weakness cesspool that's eating society alive. And you know why? Because you don't understand what real self-acceptance is. You aren't actually talking about self-acceptance when you talk about self-acceptance. You think it's about conformity, about being nice, about not rocking the boat in your life or in the world. You think it's about not challenging your own viewpoint. You think self-acceptance equates to accepting your own bullshit. And you could not be more wrong. I want you to understand something. Self-acceptance has nothing to do with being nice to yourself. Real self-acceptance, the kind that transforms, means staring yourself down in the mirror, naming the cracks in your foundation, and using that truth to iterate your current position. It means taking action that produces different outcomes, better results, and real progress. And here's where this idea comes in that I want to talk to you guys about. It's called the slight edge theory. It was coined early in the 2000s by this guy named Jeff Olson. And this concept is very simple in words and, once again, brutal in reality. It means small, smart, consistent actions over time compound into massive results. Makes sense, right? Which also means the opposite is also true. Tiny, easy, lazy choices compound into cognitive weakness, and that's the lever that you have been ignoring. While everybody else is out there accepting their limp-ass existence, and neurobiology backs us up, by the way, every time you do the hard shit, every time you do the shit that you don't want to do, but you know you need to do, your brain physically rewires itself. Neural pruning happens to your laziness pathways, your procrastination pathways. And simultaneously, what happens? Other pathways get stronger, like executive decision-making, discipline, resilience, grit. This is how you build a brain that bends in your favor, guys. That is how you take control of your life at the neural level. But instead of the kind of self-acceptance that I just described to you guys, we have so many people walking around talking about how bad they have it in life and how there's no fucking way they could possibly fix their shit. And right behind them are the Care Bear motherfucking gurus on social media reinforcing cognitive weakness, telling people not to do anything about their flaws, about their situation. That's right, guys. According to these people, these gurus, the shit in your life, okay, your flaws, your situationship, whatever the fuck you have going on, are supposedly untouchable and unfixable. And let me just address this. When I say flaws, I'm not talking about some sort of physical hindrance that you can't control. I'm talking about the mindset, the vices that you pull on, the weak-ass thought patterns that keep you in your limp-ass existence. And so what do these social media gurus preach? Well, they all say the same exact shit, however you slice it. No matter your shitty circumstances, no matter your broke-ass bank account, your toxic interpersonal relationships, no matter how you behave or your personal failures, they tell you, hey, you should feel like gold. You should feel amazing about yourself, Brenda. You should be happy with what you've become, Paul. Really? Is that really the way that you should accept yourself? Really? This is the self-acceptance trap. A trap to get you to embrace your own complacency, your mediocrity, your low shitty standards, your lack of cognitive backbone. It's a way to get you to avoid hard work, avoid discomfort, and avoid personal growth, to keep you operating at the same level as everybody else, which is the level of irrelevance. What's it going to take for you to finally eradicate the pieces of your life that you secretly hate, huh? The moment you accept your own mediocrity is the moment you give up any chance to improve those pieces of your life that you secretly hate. And if you do that, if you accept your own mediocrity, I promise you this, you will always struggle endlessly. You will never push your limits. You will never test yourself outside the line drawn for you right now. You will never become anything other than who you are. In your life, it will always feel like shit. But when you set out to accomplish the hard shit in life, the shit that nobody really wants to do, by the way, but we do it anyway, everything changes. When you push past the pain, when you lean into your perseverance, when you watch your blood hit the surface, but you get back up after getting knocked down, you actually feel alive. You feel proud. You feel powerful. You feel like someone who is intentionally building themselves day after day, brick by brick. And your brain responds by strengthening your neural pathways that reinforce courage, resilience, and discipline. That's building a brain that bends in your favor. So if you're out there right now and you're one of the gurus telling people to accept themselves, or maybe you're one of the listeners right now and you're telling people to avoid discomfort, or you're out there inviting people to give up on themselves, you're not helping anybody. You're inviting cognitive weakness and a limp-ass existence. And that, my friends, is the opposite of building a brain that bends in your favor. The human brain isn't some sort of static piece of meat, by the way. It's a living, rewiring, neuroplasticity powerhouse. Every decision you make, every action you take, every time you confront your weak-ass thought patterns, every time you tackle the shit that terrifies you, every time you do all of the hard stuff, it physically changes the architecture and structure of your brain. You actually expand your cognitive capacity to endure, to focus, to think faster, to make smarter decisions. Those pathways compound over time, just like the slight edge theory says. Small, smart, consistent actions done over days, months, years, a lifetime turn into monumental personal and neural power. And if you're not doing this, you are literally shrinking your willingness to dominate in life. This is why the gurus want you to believe that just saying, "I'm enough" in the bathroom mirror will somehow solve your shit. They don't tell you the truth because the truth is messy. The truth requires discipline, failure, iteration, and self-accountability. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's unsexy, and most people avoid this at all costs. But it's that exact same discomfort that makes you want to quit. That is the only directive that will build your brain into a neural weapon. The only thing that will transform your limp-ass existence right now into a neural powerhouse of cognitive performance and physical strength. In radical cognitive growth, neurodominance, as I like to call it, it doesn't happen when you pat yourself on the back for getting out of bed for the day. It happens when you stare yourself down in the mirror, name your foundational cracks out loud, and systematically obliterate them. That's how your brain rewires, that's how your mind strengthens, and how your reality transforms. And this isn't some motivational woo-woo floofy stuff, guys. This is actually pure neurobiology at its core. That's how you go from somebody bitching about their broke bank account or toxic intrapersonal relationships to somebody who executes, adapts, eradicates the pieces of their life they hate, and dominates. And here's the most important part. The margin between the person who does build neurodominance and the person who doesn't is radically smaller than you think. It's literally the slight edge. The person who chooses the uncomfortable action today, who leans into the shit that scares them, who does the work behind closed doors that nobody sees or claps for, that's who's building a brain that bends in their favor. That's who's iterating toward building their journey of overcoming. That is who's currently creating outcomes everybody else thinks are impossible. And this is exactly why the self-acceptance movement exploded, because it's profitable. But before I go into this any further, I want to make something very crystal clear with you guys before anybody twists my words into something that they're not. I am not attacking self-love. Self-love is necessary. It's critical, in fact. It gives you the internal stability required to do the hard shit without collapsing. What I am attacking is the self-acceptance trap, the commercialized, clickbait-friendly, guilt-free, watered-down, you're fine as you are narrative that tells you to stop trying and pretend that your self-imposed limitations are permanent. It's the narrative that keeps people stuck, stagnant, and living with regret, and that's the definition that matters here. Self-acceptance is not empowerment. Self-acceptance, as it is presented to you through the commercialized, clickbait-friendly, guilt-free, watered-down, you're fine as you are narrative, is a business model. There's an entire industry that requires you to believe that you are defective, powerless, fragile, and incapable of change. They need you to think your problems are permanent so that you keep buying their journals, their affirmation decks, their self-acceptance retreats, their pastel-colored coping kits, and their You Are Enough merch drops. You being stuck where you are is their recurring revenue. You being stuck right where you are is their subscription model. You not handling your shit is the oxygen keeping their entire ecosystem alive. Because you know what? If you ever actually changed, if you ever developed neurodominance, if you ever took personal responsibility, executed consistently in the right goal-oriented action, and built a brain that bends in your favor, you wouldn't need any of their shit. You wouldn't buy another self-acceptance reminder ever again. You wouldn't bow down to their feel-good narratives that keep you trapped in a cycle of emotional sedation and cognitive weakness. And this is the part that pisses me off so much, guys. Not for me, but for you. These gurus profit off your stagnation, and then they have the audacity to call it compassion. They don't tell you the truth because the truth doesn't sell as well. The truth requires work. The truth requires effort. The truth requires that you stop treating every single negative emotion you feel like the North Star and start treating your actions as the commander in charge. The truth requires you be disciplined, not decorated. To be personally accountable, not applauded. To do the hard shit. Now go chant affirmations in the bathroom mirror while everything in your life is collapsing behind you. And this is exactly where this next piece that I want to talk about comes in, because this is the piece that I refuse to skip over. I am going to tell you, I am going to be the one because there's not going to be anybody else, so here it is. Radically successful people understand something most of you don't, or quite frankly refuse to, which is the world does not reward your good intentions or self-perceived enoughness. It rewards execution. It rewards repeated, goal-oriented action under pressure for a really long time. It rewards the discomfort that you push through while everybody else lays around, hugs their pillow tight, and doom scrolls in their bed, saying to themselves, well, I'm doing my best. Your brain is a living, rewiring neuroplasticity powerhouse, guys. Those who lean into discomfort daily aren't just getting better. They're building a brain that favors neurodomination. And that's the margin. That's the razor-thin edge between those who are stuck and those who are unstoppable. It's the difference between the people who say, I tried my best, and the people who say, I dominated what I thought was impossible. Guys, look, I wish that I could tell you it was easy to change course, or it's easy to start a new business, or maintain a healthy marriage, or lose the weight for good, or never take a vacation for years to save more money, or that it was easy to leave toxic interpersonal relationships, especially if they involve family, or easy to handle your shit consistently. But guess what? It's fucking not. Nobody claps for you while you do it. Nobody notices when you get out of bed at 4:25 a.m. Nobody notices when you cancel plans and grind in silence on the parts of your life that suck. And that's the point. The reward isn't applause or double taps on your social media posts. It's your brain literally adapting under the surface. It's your body finally pushing past your self-imposed limitations and your reality slowly bending in your favor while the rest of the world sleeps in and hugs their pillow tight. Here's the truth, guys. Everything in this life is earned, including your happiness, your physique, your healthy interpersonal relationships, your finances, your mental clarity, everything. And the reason you feel like shit is because you haven't earned the right to feel good about yourself. You haven't handled your shit consistently. You haven't done the hard work that creates a disciplined ecosystem. You haven't confronted the cracks in your foundation and obliterated them brick by brick. And here's where most people fail. They're out there buying into the you are enough lie sold by the blamestream media and the gurus. And everywhere you look, people are telling you that you're forever stuck. And the solution is just to accept yourself as is, okay? They post memes and feel-good quotes and bathroom mirror affirmations you're supposed to recite. And what they're doing to you is they're reinforcing exactly what keeps you stuck, which is cognitive weakness. And the worst part? These gurus on social media are telling you this, and they're not even handling their own shit. They aren't confronting their flaws. They aren't building meaningful interpersonal relationships. But they want you to believe that bathroom mirror affirmations are apparently your breakthrough. They're your bliss. They're your pathway to lifelong fulfillment. So like I said, okay, that is Care Bear motherfucker talk. And I want to tell you something about me and my personal story, because I don't just talk the talk. I live it, and I share the unsexy parts of myself with you guys, okay? When I was at my lowest point in life, and yes, there have been more than one, there have been even stretches of years where I felt like I've been punched in the gut by life repeatedly, okay? But when I was at one of these lowest points in my life, I had this moment of clarity. And it wasn't until I was almost like 38 years old when this happened. When I walked over to the mirror, I stared myself in the eye and I was like, look, bitch, your life is shit. And it's because of the decisions that you made 1,000 days ago, 700 days ago, 60 days ago, and yesterday. You avoided the hard shit. You've been hiding behind excuses. You've lied to yourself about the progress that you're not making. You've given into comfort for a really long time, and you're doing the backstroke in a cesspool of your own mediocrity. And in that moment, guys, I can promise you, I realized something that most people never do. Being kind to myself didn't mean lying to myself about where I was. The real kindness, the real self-love, as brutal honesty, guys, it's called naming your cracks, okay? In your foundation, owning that personal responsibility and refusing to let your brain settle into cognitive weakness. And that's when I started doing the work that rewired my brain. Neural pruning was going on of what wasn't working. Fear, hesitation, worry, complacency, while simultaneously building new pathways for new cognitive focus, new types of resilience, and calculated aggression started forming inside me. And I started getting cognitively stronger, brick by brick, day after day. And that is how you build a brain that bends in your favor. So you see, guys, I couldn't just stand there and look at myself in the bathroom mirror and recite like I am enough affirmations and hope for results. I couldn't buy a pastel-colored coping kit and think that it would course correct years of cognitive weakness. No, guys, I had to literally confront every single foundational crack I had avoided. For example, my eating disorder, lying to protect my image, my destructive patterns with alcohol, interpersonal relationships, everything. And then I had to go systematically obliterate it. And that's exactly what I did. And you know what? Nobody cheered. Nobody was around validating my progress. Nobody was holding me accountable but myself. But my brain didn't care. You know what? My brain adapted. My resilience pathways strengthened. My capacity for cognitive endurance expanded. And my cognitive ability to execute under pressure sharpened. And my reality, it started changing as well. Slowly, painfully, brutally, but it did start changing. And that's the difference between the kind of self-acceptance sold to the masses and the kind of self-confrontation that actually produces real results. So if your bank account isn't where you want it to be, it's not because somebody screwed you. It's because you haven't put in the work long enough to put a different number in it. Same goes for your physique, your mental clarity, your current interpersonal relationships, your capacity to overcome, your spiritual growth. Every decision you make, every choice to act or avoid shapes the strength of your circuits. And you haven't built the disciplined ecosystem that you need yet. You haven't trained your brain to handle pressure yet, to execute under stress yet, to systematically fix the cracks in your life. You haven't done the work to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am proud of you, rather than I am enough. That's why you're not winning in life. The reason most people don't take action on this concept I'm talking about to you today is because they're terrified to confront themselves. And listen, guys, I know a lot of you listening actually do look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. But then what do? You freeze. You don't take any action. That's because, you know what? Real change is hard. So here's your bathroom mirror challenge, actually. Go into your bathroom mirror, stare yourself down, and ask yourself out loud, what is the hard truth about myself I've been avoiding? And then I want you to answer that question honestly. And I want you to go feel like shit about yourself for 3 to 4 minutes, okay? And then I want you to own it. And then immediately turn that awareness into action. And that moment, guys, that moment, the recognition followed by deliberate action is where control returns to your life. That sinking feeling of loss of agency over your life will begin to dissipate the moment you accept personal responsibility for your messy, shitty-ass life. That is kindness, by the way. That is self-love. That is where your life can start to change for the better. That is how you begin to earn the right to be happy. And if you're listening to this message right now, if you have any ambition whatsoever, if you have any courage left in your tank, I want you to know this. You were born to lean in with curiosity. You were born to discover more about yourself and about the world. You were born to help more people in this world, which means your work is not done here. And that delta from where you are right now and the person that you want to become is realizing your full potential and being courageous enough to show others how to do the same. And if you do not even attempt this, if you do not even try to do this, then you should expect a long, shitty life full of regret. You will continue to cry into your pillow at night, frustrated, angry, disappointed in yourself, embarrassed. Your nervous system and your executive function and your stress response will all register that failure, by the way. That constant unaddressed regret, I want you to know what that does to you. It erodes your potential. Awareness without action is agony, and it drives hopelessness. Are there people in this world right now who are content right where they are in life? Yes, content. Are there people content with not losing the weight for good? Yes, content. Are there people in the world content with less money in their bank account? Yes, they're content, guys. Are there people you know who carry interpersonal relationships that are not the best for them? Yes, and they're content. They seem happy, right? Right? But that happiness isn't fulfillment, all right? I'm going to tell you what it is. It's ignorance. Their brains aren't firing at full cognitive potential because they're not challenging themselves enough. They haven't activated any meaningful change. Basically, they are boiling under the surface and they're too ignorant to even know it. And because they are unaware of what? Of how much better life can get. That's why they're ignorant. They think that their life is just fine. And that's why they justify and that's why they make excuses. But I'm telling you, awareness, the kind of awareness like you have, that's exactly what separates you from those people. And that awareness is a gift, guys. And it's also a neural weapon, which means you can't hide behind cognitive weakness when you know better. And when you know better, you must do better. Your awareness is how you evaluate consequences and analyze patterns and try to predict outcomes for yourself. It's the part of your brain that enables planning, but only if you act. So instead of crying into your pillow another night tonight, all right, instead of pouting on the internet, instead of complaining about every fucking corner of your life and blaming everybody else, I think it would serve you better if you went out and handled your shit. Go have the bathroom mirror conversation I told you about. Go identify your cracks, confront them, apply effort daily, invest into the areas of your life that you need to be more effective and productive, actually put in the work, and the neurobiology is clear. This is how humans adapt, how lives transform, and how you build a brain that bends in your favor. This is how you find yourself in a place of control, which most of you don't feel right now because you've been accepting your bullshit for far too long. You expect the universe to just deliver success upon you while you do nothing. That's not how the universe works, guys. That's how you end up with nada. What will happen If you fall for the trap of self-acceptance, the trap of the blame stream media, the trap of all these feel-good narratives, is you're going to be stuck doom scrolling and double tapping posts alongside everybody else talking about how they're accepting their bullshit. They just phrase it differently. They're talking about quitting on themselves because it wasn't meant to be, and reciting bathroom mirror affirmations that none of you even believe, and it won't change anything. This is something that you need to come face to face with. So while you sit there doom scrolling and trying to find more memes that makes your ego feel alive for 5 seconds, the rest of us are out here waking up sexy as hell, by the way, and kicking ass. We're putting in the work. Even when our bodies scream to quit, we're gritting it out, persevering when our blood hits the surface by the universe throwing punch after punch. We're ingesting personal development literature to sharpen our minds. We're fueling our bodies with one-word healthy foods. We're attacking our finances like they're a battlefield. We're building and maintaining our businesses, our physique, our families. We're strengthening our interpersonal relationships that actually work and are not toxic. And yes, we are handling our shit by becoming better fucking human beings. People who wake up and they do not have that victim mentality. People who actually face the cracks in their foundation, who embrace personal responsibility and accountability. They reap the rewards that society tells you don't even exist. If you're sitting there and you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, okay, well, hold on just a second. I've been listening to you this whole time. And I got to tell you, got to raise my hand and say, I've been putting in the work. I've been grinding. I've been doing the work behind closed doors that nobody sees or claps for. I've been handling my shit every single day. And I want to tell you that nothing has changed in my life. I am here to give that person listening a reality check. Here's the only thing that you are doing wrong if that is the case. Either you are self-sabotaging yourself later in the day with actions that undo what you did earlier that day. And if that's not it, then potentially you're doing the wrong type of work on yourself and you need to be doing other types of work, or you haven't been doing it long enough. That's it. Those are the only reasons. That's the neurobiology in action. Sustained, goal-oriented action with correct inputs produces measurable output. If your output is 0, that means your input is either misaligned or insufficient. So while every guru online tries to shove a narrative full of mediocrity, complacency, dependency down your throat, I think it would serve you all well to slam the stop button on your bullshit and ask yourself what you truly want out of this life. If you're still sitting there trying to negotiate with your cognitive weakness, let me shut that shit down right now. You are not confused. You are not trying to figure it out. You're not waiting for some cosmic sign that's suddenly going to show up, okay? You have been dodging the hard work. You are either building a life that demands self-respect, or you're building a life that you're secretly embarrassed by. If you keep choosing the same cognitive weakness patterns, you'll continue to earn the same weak outcomes. And that is not fate. It's not bad luck. It's not the fact that your parents were shitty to you growing up. That is you compounding your own collapse. And is that what you want for your life? Because I don't think deep down anybody wants that. Self-acceptance, okay, accepting yourself is actually about telling yourself the hard truth. It's about you choosing to drag your ass into the arena every single day and execute like your life depends on it, because it does. And then if you do that, the entire trajectory of your existence changes. Not in a week, not in a month, but inevitably. Unavoidably, because neurobiology doesn't negotiate, it responds. So here's your line in the cement. Keep living as the watered-down version of yourself headed toward being completely irrelevant on this planet, or become that badass motherfucker who finally starts accepting personal responsibility and becomes undeniable. Those are the two options. There is no third option. There is no corner to cut. There is no loophole. There is no easy path. I am telling you the truth about this, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And one day, when your results finally cut a hole straight into the universe, you're going to look back and realize that this exact moment was where everything changed, because it's the moment you stopped accepting yourself.
This has been the Erin Marie Podcast. So many people walking around out there are professional victims and complainers, and we ain't having it. If you agree and you've gotten something from the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. Remember, stay off your ass, no excuses, and never settle for mediocrity. Catch you next time on the Erin Marie Podcast.